Alright guys, this is a video about installing this Artec clean boost. And you may ask yourself, why would you need a clean boost? Well, in the 80s it was a big thing to take a Ibanez TS-808, put it in front of your guitar chain, like right at the front of your signal, and turn the gain, or turn the drive down, turn that on down, and then turn up the clean boost. So it would make your amp work a little bit harder, to overdrive the signal without making it too dirty or having too much extra feedback. And that's kind of what this is. It's just a very small version that is built onto a board that can be put in your guitar and is variable from 0 dB to 20. So you can have a lot of boost out of this little thing. Now it requires a 9-volt battery, which requires a stereo jack to operate within the guitar. Now this guitar, if you watch the video on this Samick, you may already know how it sounds. But this is going to be a further in-depth look at the clean boost and all the wiring we're going to do here. This is, it's pretty jacked up, and sadly so. Whoever got in here used speaker wire. The volumes are not wired correctly. They make weird phase shifts, like what's supposed to be the humbucker, bottom humbucker volume, bridge humbucker, just makes this weird phase shift, and it's an awful mess. So we're getting rid of it. Everything in here is coming out. And then we're going to start putting it back together. So really, I don't need to go over with you what's in here now. But what we're going to be left with, it's going to be one volume, one tone. We're going to have our clean boost circuit, and then of course the switch. So let me get this stuff out of here and we'll start putting it in. Alright, so now I'm just starting my ground system. I generally like to build in my ground first and then work with all my hot leads. So all I'm doing is, this is grounding the bridge to the tone pot. I'm going to build all my grounds off of the tone pot so that you sort of have this star formation instead of a ground loop. Because you want to avoid a ground loop, it helps to prevent the buzz. And these are the wires from the pickups. They're super extra long for some reason, and according to the old Greg Bennett archive website for this guitar, they're Duncan design pickups, which is pretty cool. I've had good experiences with those in the past. Alright, now I'm going to ground my preamp, the clean boost, to that same tone pot. Okay, now our preamp is grounded. I'm reusing a lot of this old wire. I'm just reusing it right. And now I'm going to ground my switch to the tone pot as well. And you never want to have to hold heat onto one of these components. So now that I've done 3 grounds on this tone pot, I'm going to move on to something else, and I'll come back for the next ground here in just a second. Alright, we're wiring up our stereo jack now. So you have to pay attention when you're wiring up a stereo jack. So we want the tip to be our hot. And if you follow this prong, here's the tip. So that corresponds to this tab. So we're going to put this tab as our hot. And then the inner sleeve, which is this loop inside in here, is our ground, and that corresponds to the tab that's poking right off the top of it. I'm actually going to trim this back. Hold on one second. Okay, so I got that trimmed So now we need to attach our ground to our ground tab. And the remaining tab that goes to the ring, that's going to be for our battery power. Alright, to keep the input jack nice and tidy, we're going to ground it to the same PCB board here. So let me, because remember, we have our output right here and our input over here, so our output, hey Percy, our output is going to be hooked up first. A big fluffy kitty just jumped up by my head, y'all. After that, we're going to hook up the ground. Okay, there we go. Now we need to run a hot wire from our volume to our boost. Now this red is our B+ voltage, so that powers the preamp. And that goes to this very end one right here. And now we just have to hook our volume. Output up to our preamp, to our little booster. And then that should have it all covered. So let's do that now. And that should do it. I have connected my switch up to the two pickups, currently running just an on-off setting. So once I decide, I'm unfamiliar with this 5-way switch that's in here, this particular enclosed type. So once I figure out where my neck and humbucker positions are, I will then either bridge contacts or maybe come up with something else. Each humbucker is only 2 lead, which means it has a ground and a hot out. There's no coil tap option. I don't know why there's the 5 switch in here, so we're probably gonna have to bridge some contacts. Okay, so the very last thing we need to do before we put the battery in and test it is install our treble bleed. So that line is going to go from the first pin on our volume here to the center pin of our treble pot. Wiring videos are super hard to make because I know you guys can't really see down into what I'm doing here. I'm sorry about that. Okay, let's go over what we did. So, starting with our input signal, or output, from the guitar, we have the output of our preamp, the hot out, going to our jack. We have the ground from the preamp going to the jack. We have the B+ voltage from the battery going here. We have the hot lead from our volume going from the center lug of the volume, okay, center lug, out to the input of our clean boost. Alright, we have the ground from our clean boost grounded off at the pot. We have our switch grounded off at the pot. And of course a police officer going by. We have our volume grounded to the tone pot. we have our bridge grounded to the tone pot. And again, as we discussed, that is to help prevent ground loop hum. The two pickups, the red being the neck, connected to this side of the switch, because in this switch it looks like it inverts. So when the switch is up, it's at the bottom side. When it's down, it's at the top side. So we have both pickups grounded at the switch, which that ground also connects to tone. And then we have the hot output from the neck pickup down on this side, the hot output of the humbucker, the bridge humbucker on this side. And like I said, I'm going to see where the signal cuts off as I switch through, and then I should be able to figure out which pin's to bridge. That goes from the central output of that switch to the first lug of our volume right here. And that is also where our treble leak is located. So our live treble leak that leaks to ground comes all the way over here, goes into our treble pot, travels through the little capacitor, and leaks to ground. And then that's all that's connected to the tone pot. From the volume lug here, the center volume lug is what goes out to the preamp. And then the other little wire here is just the bridge ground. I hope that covers it. So now let me put a battery in this thing, and we're going to do a quick test, make sure our wiring works. And then if it does, we'll put some foam around the battery and seal it back up. Alright guys, now we have our beastly Greg Bennett all wired up. And something pretty interesting, I'm guessing these are Alnico pickups because they're quite, they're not bright. See, that sounds like a neck pickup almost, and that's the bridge. And this is the neck. Sound good though. So I believe 2 decibel increase was the first switch. So let's go to that, try that. There's a noticeable volume increase. You guys may not notice it as much because you know, this is going to be compressed, but try the 6 dB. That's a lot of volume. This should be the 20 dB. So yeah, you can definitely hear that overdrive in the preamp. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. Okay, so I think I'm wrong. I think it's on, then 6, 10, 20. So right now we're in the on position. So now let's go to the distorted channel, and a little practice amp here. All right, 6 dB. It's just monstrous for this little practice amp, really. All right, 20. There's a lot of thickness to it, and there's a little fuzz. There's also some noise introduced. But the sustain, that's crazy. have some fun with this. So since this is a 5-way, I'll probably change these pickups out to something that I can split so that I can switch through and coil tap as I go. I think that'd be fun. But thanks for watching this video, guys. And yeah, if you want to get a clean boost, there you go. That's how you do it. Pretty freaking awesome.